हेलो लर्नर्स, वेलकम बैक टू द कोडिंग सेशन ऑफ numpy arrays। सो हमने थ्योरी सीखा, हमने सीखा numpy क्या होता है, numpy कैसे यूज करते हैं, numpy की क्या फंक्शनैलिटीज है। अभी हम उस सब चीजों को थ्योरी में और कोड में इंप्लीमेंट करके सीखेंगे, राइट। सो इंपोर्ट numpy एज np। सबसे पहले तो हमको लाइब्रेरी को इंपोर्ट करना होगा। वील हैव टू इंपोर्ट दिस लाइब्रेरीज एंड वी हैव टू स्टोर इट इन अ एलियास कॉल्ड एज np। सो एक बार ये यहाँ पे स्टोर हो गया, यू कैन रन दिस पर्टिकुलर कमांड and you can see how quickly within seconds it run. Now you can use this numpy and various functions of this numpy in this particular code. So जैसे कि I have written np.zeros file. So you see कि यहाँ पे np के अंदर numpy के अंदर एक functionalities है जिसमें already zeros created होते हैं। तो zeros create हो गया और 5 elements के साथ। So 5 times 0 has been written. So this is one function of numpy. Then we have np.zeros 3,4. So we have 3 rows and 4 columns in which zeros are written, right? Then we have a.shape. अब हम इसका देखना चाहेंगे कि इसका शेप क्या है। तो यहाँ पे 3 rows and 4 columns है। So basically ये रिटर्न कर देता है 3 rows and 4 columns, right? So even if you have already created an array, not with the zeros, any other array which has say 100 rows and 50 columns, you can do a.shape and you can see that how many rows and columns it is there. So if you see an actual data set in an industry, it has maybe say millions of rows, say maybe 20 million rows and 20 million rows and say 1,000 columns. Just imagine, it would be very difficult to count that, right? Here you can easily count, okay, 3 rows, 4 columns, but you cannot count if there are million of rows and thousands of columns, right? So then this shape functionality is very useful to get to know how big is your data, what is the dimension of the data. This shape function is used. देन हमारे पास आता है a.ndim। सो उसका डायमेंशन क्या है? इट इज अ 2 डायमेंशनल एरे, राइट। सो यहाँ पे आ गया 2। फिर a.size, टोटल कितने एलिमेंट है एरे में। सो जैसे कि मैंने देखा कि 3.4, सो यहाँ पे 12 एलिमेंट हो गए, राइट। फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ, सिक्स, सेवंथ, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12। सो 12 जीरोस है तो इसका साइज हो गया 12, राइट। देन वी हैव np.zeros 3,4। सो इसका हमको टाइप देखना है, डेटा टाइप। रिमेंबर कि इसका डेटा टाइप क्या होगा, तो ये numpy array है। numpy.nd array is the data type for this particular element. So these are very simple code but very important, and you can use this in a working environment and actually to know the shape, dimension, data type. All of these things are very important. This might look small but these are really very important. Then suppose if I want to see that how many say I want to put ones instead of twos. So now I've given 10 rows, right? 10 rows and 3 columns, and I want to put instead of zeros np.ones. What it will give? It will give 1 in 10 rows and 3 columns. This is the power of Python, that it can generate so many rows. Now if I want to do 100 rows and 13 columns, let's see if this works. See, it is working. So it is putting dotted here because it cannot show 100. It will look very long, so it is just like compressing the data, but limit is 100 rows. And this, if you want to export this data and see in CSV, you will actually see 100 rows, right? 100 elements in a row and then 13 columns here. So again, it is also summarizing the number of rows as well over here. So yeah, so basically now if you have to see that you have to pass an empty array, like empty array with some junk value. So this is like e to the power minus 3/2. This is almost like equivalent to 0. So you can pass a np array again with, now you see 2 rows and 3 columns, correct? So first row and second row and 3 columns are there. So this is np.empty. So you can create a empty numpy array as well. So what all we learned till now? We learned how to import a library, how to create a zeros array, how to create arrays with ones, how many rows we need, how many columns we need, what is the shape of the array, what is the dimension of that particular array. So हमने ये सारा चीजें सीखा। अब हम नेक्स्ट फंक्शनैलिटी में जाते हैं, जो कि अगेन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, अरेंज। जैसे कि हम देखते हैं ना, अरेंज क्या होता है, तो अरेंज इन अ पर्टिकुलर ऑर्डर, मे बी से असेंडिंग ऑर्डर, से स्मॉलेस्ट टू द बिगेस्ट. So if I am arranging an array from 6 to 15, so यहाँ पे क्या होता है, 6 included होता है and then 15 से एक पहले का, so till 14 तक. So 6 से 14 तक सारे जो है वो अरेंज हो जाएंगे, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. So अगर आप इसमें देखते हैं, अगर हम इसमें 25 भी कर देंगे तो ये 25, 24 तक सारा वैल्यूज दिखा देगा, right? So this is how it is arranging in a particular ascending order. So that is where arrange function can be used. Now the next important is random function. Random क्या होता है? Any random values, right? What random things you are talking about? You have heard, right? So similarly, what random values are there in an array? Just remember, if you put a random function, it puts the random values between 0 to 1. So now if I want to put 0 to 1 values and I want to put, let's say, 13 rows and 4 columns. So it is like, see, all of these values are between 0 to 1. Any value if you see, it is between 0 to 1, and we get all random values. And what is the beauty of this, you know? So first value is 0.704, second is 0.969, right? 0.70 and 0.96. Let's see again. The value changes, boom. Because there can be many numbers of this, right? So every time you generate this function, every time you get a new random values. That is the meaning of the word random, right? कि वो एकदम random होना चाहिए, and जो values आ रही है वो that should be very random. So that is how this random function works, and that is how you create a particular random value, right? And then again you can play around with how many rows and columns you need here, and you can get the different values. Now moving on to function. Now this is something interesting. It might look little complex. Just understand the basic. Maybe you can understand detail later. That you can pass 3 values into this Numpy. So first is how many array elements you want. The first row, which is this first one, second one, and third one, which is 3. Then I want 2 rows inside each element. So this is 2, and then 10. 10 is each like how many columns, so 10 columns, right? So first one is row in terms of like how many anyway, first one, second one, third one, and then rows and then columns. And then you want to pass these values inside this function and return some values, okay? So सबसे पहले तो x, what is x here? So x is, again, it will increase from 0 to 10, right? It increases from 0 to 10, and here we see the value of z is what? The value of y and z is 0 over x. So it is like it is increasing from 0 to 10. So first element is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then next में y becomes 1. So if you see, this is 0 and this is 1, 0 again. So this is 10. So basically you are adding 10 to each of these elements. So it becomes 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now in second you will get a value of x as well, which is again 100 addition of this. So now if you see a 100 addition in this particular y value, so you'll get first is 0 plus 100 is 100, then this plus 100 is 101. Then again, now you are adding 100 to the second row. So this is the second row and you are adding 100 values to it. So these values are coming. Now again the third value is multiplying it by z value. So z में क्या होगा? This second array will be multiplied by, basically this will be multiplied by 2, and then basically 200 will be added to this first element. So 0 plus 100, it was 100. Now 0 plus 100 into 2, which is 200. 1 plus 100 into 2, which is 201. So this is how the output are generated. Now you see the magic, right? Only 3 elements you have passed, which you want in arrays. Then a list. Z is the first element which defines if it is 0, 100 or 200. Then this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 0 to 10, 0 to 9 again. And then you are adding 10 in the y values, right? So you can just rethink it again and you can know. And if you are finding it complex, it is definitely fine. Just understand that we can pass any values to a function and it will return some values. So as I said, you don't have to write a code and again. If you have a value and you want to pass a value into it, suppose if you do a simple 10 into say 10 into xyz, so every time whatever value you give into z, it will pass into 10, this into 10, this into 10. So basically the same code will occur recursively, and that is why we create a function. And this is how you can use this function to create a n-dimensional arrays. So basically again 3 elements with 2 rows each and 10 columns each, right? So this is how this function has worked. Now we can do even simple mathematical calculation in NP arrays, right? We can add the corresponding element, we can subtract the corresponding. So if you see 14 plus 5 is 19, 23 plus 4 is 27, 35, 43. So 19, 27, 35, 43. So this is how a plus b. Similarly, a into b you can do. A divided by b you can do. So all these numbers will come. Then if you are doing a percentile b, whatever is the remainder, you can get those remainder values inside this. So all the remainder values will come. So 14 divided by 5 is 2, and then 4 is the remainder. So 4 is coming. Then 3 will come here, 2 will come here, 1 will come here. So this is 4, 3, 2, 1. And the beauty of this is all of this execute within 1 second, right? Maybe milliseconds as well. So this is how this runs, and it gives you the values. Now you can compare two arrays as well. So now if I have this array and I want to compare it, whether 20, and again it will corresponding each element only. So this is the 0th element of this is the 0th element, first, second, third element. Okay, so in terms of index number I am telling you 0th, first and second, third. So first it will compare, is 15 is 20 less than 15? No, right? So it is false. Is 16 is minus 5 less than 16? Yes, it is true. Then is 30 less than 35? True. Is 40 less than 36? False. So this is how you can compare two arrays and get the like comparison value out of it. And if you see, this is also quick. So this is like an NumPy, right? Everything is so quick and operationally it is so fast that it can run quickly and it can give you an output. Now if you want to arrange it in a particular shape and you want to see a particular values, say first we will see if there are 4 rows and 12 columns, right? So it will arrange 48 number from 0 to 47 into 4 rows. So just imagine if I have to divide 4 into 4 rows, how many? Each row will have 12 elements, right? 48 divided by 4. And then I want to have basically I want to have how many? I want to have 12 elements in each row. So 48 divided by 12 is 4. So basically here I'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 11. So 12 columns and then 4 rows, which is from 0 to 11, 12 to 23 until 47. Remember, if it is 48, so it will start from 0, so it will end at 47 to have 48 elements. Now let us try and play around with it. Let us do 5 and 7, okay? So why it is not working? Anyone can make any guess? Because it cannot divide 48 into 5 into 7 is 35 and you are saying 48. So we have to see a number which falls into, which multiplies and gives 48. So 16 into 3 is how much? 48, right? Let's see now if it works. It works, right? So now what I'll do, I am saying I need 16 elements, 16 columns and 3 rows. Simple, right? 3 rows, 16 columns. So first till 16 it will be 0 to 15. Next row will start from 16, again count 16 element, 31. Next row will start from 32, again count 16 element, will be 47. So that is how it is arranging from 0 to 47 and it is dividing properly on the basis of whatever shape you have given here. So you are using NumPy and you are using arrange and reshape function out of it. Now even you can do a 3-dimensional array. So first element, again as I said, 4 elements. So 4, 2 rows in each element, 3 columns in each element. Divide it, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. Again, the multiplication of these 3 is 24. So now if I want to do this as, so suppose I want to do this as, 48. Let's do 48. Okay. So if you multiply all this, it will be 48, right? Let's see what happens. Nice. Okay. Let's have some different so that you can see the difference also, that there are 4. So 4 elements different, first element, second element, third element, fourth element. Each element has 2 rows, first row, second row, each has 6 columns. So 6 columns, 0 to 5, again second row will end here. Now go to the second list, which is 12 to 23, 24 to 35, 36 to 47. I hope it is clear now and you understood how to use these functions, and you can play around. Once you play around, and then you will understand more and you will practice, so you'll learn more. So all these are the basic functions of NumPy, but all these are very useful, and we'll see that we'll use similar kind of functions in data frames as well. But if you have to play around with the arrays and you have to like use the numerical capabilities of Python, you can play with NumPy and you can get these values. So I hope you all enjoyed this today's coding session, and do subscribe and like this video so that it reaches the maximum. Also put in your comments, feedback, suggestion, how are you liking the content and delivery, and also put in your email ID so that I can send you this notebook. The notebook is must important and you need to practice it. So see you next time. Thank you for